Well, Aristotle said it best, the cultivation of one's character is the most important thing we do. Well, in nearly every major tradition, if you have wisdom, you can get anything else. All right. We are back with another reflection on the daily Vedantic, and today's reflection is on the heart of Vedanta. At the heart of it, of the practice, is studying the words of the masters. There are, even within the philosophy of Vedanta, it is said that there are as many paths to God as there are people on earth. This appeals to 1 in 10,000 people to study the words of the masters. Some are wired for just devotion to the masters. Some are wired for service and action. But the approach within this philosophy is studying the words of the masters. But why would we do that? Well, to cultivate wisdom within ourselves. It is like you could take many paths to the top of the mountain. One is an up escalator. One is free soloing. One is crawling. One is a staircase. But the up escalator, the G6 of philosophy of getting us where we are to where we want to go, is the study of the words of the masters. Not just intuiting, not working through only service. There's an incorporation of service and action. There's an incorporation of devotion, for sure. There's an incorporation of different paths within Vedanta, but the highest order, the priority, is studying the words of the masters. Studying, reflecting each day, as I say so often on this podcast. But why? Well, Aristotle said it best, the cultivation of one's character is the most important thing we do. But how much time do we spend cultivating our character? You've got information on your phone, you've got knowledge in a library or at a university. But where do we go to cultivate our wisdom? To cultivate our character? That's the most important thing we do, according to Aristotle. How much time do you dedicate to cultivating your character? 5 minutes a day? 10 minutes a week? A month? Or is it a bit of a blank stare of, what does that even mean? And do I spend any time cultivating my character? The study of the wise words of the masters, whether it's the Upanishads, the texts that we dive into here in these episodes, or that Swami will dive into in the 3-year course at the ashram that you can tap into digitally, and the link in the show notes. There's a link to the ashram lectures. It could be the Gospels, it could be St. Augustine, it could be Aristotle himself. But cultivating that wisdom requires a deliberate and diligent approach to studying the words of the masters. So what is the benefit of studying the words of the masters, of gaining wisdom? Not just studying, but reflecting and understanding these wise words. What is the benefit? Well, in nearly every major tradition, if you have wisdom, you can get anything else. From King Solomon being granted anything from God and him asking for wisdom, and then being given everything else. He was the most prosperous king of the Old Testament. But when God said, you can have anything, he asked for wisdom. He didn't ask for the biggest empire. He didn't ask for the most wealth, but he got those too. A follower of the Buddha once approached him and said, I want to follow you, but I am addicted to women and wine. And the Buddha said, Follow me and you'll get those too. You'll get everything you want with a pursuit of wisdom. Because at the end of the day, what wisdom is clarity. With that clarity, you go from a pursuit of what you think you want to seeing clearly what you actually want and seeing clearly how to get it. So why do we study the wise words of the masters on a daily basis? Well, it's for clarity. It's that simple. To cultivate clarity, to see clearly ourselves, to see clearly the world in front of us, to see clearly what is and what isn't, to see what we want, how to get it, and to see clearly the end in the beginning. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.